Hello my darlings. Today we are doing a reversible Waspie corset belt thing. So starting off, I had a core made out of cotton sheet. I have two different upholstery fabrics that I got secondhand. The spiral steel bones are 8 inches long and tipped, like they're pre-cut and everything. And then the flat steel bones I cut and sanded. And the lacing is just corset lacing, because I didn't have any yarns that I thought would work well color-wise. So, onward. Full Chaos Gremlin mode. I've decided I want to make a Waspie for a gift for someone who is much less squishy than me. So I bought these ages ago when I was planning on it. But now I've decided I want to make it reversible. Can't use a busk if it's reversible. So I guess that's going in some other pile. I'll use proper steel boning for the front and the back to make things straight, and this nice squishy stuff that, see, has a pretty metal tip on it for the bones. I've cut rectangles so far. To make it lace in the front and in the back, because that makes sense to me in the moment. And each of these rectangles is 2 rectangles, right? And so the hard boning goes in the front and in the back. Yeah, you're ferocious. Yes, you are. And I'll put one of these flexible bones on either side of each seam. That's not for you. No, it's... Yes, you're so ferocious. Go away. These are the 2 waist tapes, which, holy crap, that's tiny, but I measured it, and that's what there's a wide variety of people in the world. So, we shall see how this goes. Next, I'm going to cut curves in this so that the waist measurement matches what it ought to. And then, the top and the bottom end up being whatever they are. So after some snippy, this is what it looks like. It's not nearly small enough yet, which is probably a good thing, because I'm realizing that keeping the narrowest point at the exact same elevation is important, and I should do that. There are plenty of plans online, floor plans, not floor plans. Those other things. Clothing plans. Patterns! There are patterns online for free that if I was a reasonable human being I'm sure I'd use, but I'm not. So we are winging it, and we are cutting down gradually, and this is, of course, it's me. It's a scrap of old bed sheet, and we're working towards a shape, slowly. So, I like the curves. Hopefully they're not too dramatic, because goodness knows this difference adds up over and over again, right? But it's just a Waspie, it's just for funsies. Yeah, for funsies. So now, it looks tiny to me, but it's not actually, and I'm going to have to take some off the front in order to get it the right length. But first I'm going to sew the edges together, and then I'll check for how long it should be. See, I went and said something, so I just knocked back the curve a little bit. Now I'm sewing together. In an effort to get 2 pieces that actually look more or less the same, I set everything out on a chessboard and started on one side and sewed, the front piece to the next piece, and then the other front piece to the next piece. And so now everything's together, and I'm going to just fold it over and sew it up again, because that seems sturdier. And sturdy is relevant. Oh wait, I checked, and these ridiculously tiny bones will fit inside my seam allowance. So I'll take care of that. Well, half the bones. with just folding over the seam allowance and sewing it up. And then I'll have to worry about the other half of the bones in a minute. The thing pretty much exists. It came together really quickly, which I'm grateful for, because next up is all the pretty stuff. And up until just now, I was totally planning on having another bone right here, but I don't think it needs it. I'm just used to such enthusiastic garments that, I don't know, apparently I bought twice as many 8-inch, what do you call them, spiral steel bones as I needed. Go figure. So, next up, waist tape. I folded it in half. I'll put the center of it on, that's probably that. There. Right there. So the waist tape, such as it is, down, and then worry about the flat steel bones at either end of these things. Hey look, I'm sewing in my painting corner instead of on my nice cozy couch. So these that I'm using are in, and these that I inexplicably have left over are not. And then I was going to just show you something, because these are spiral steel boning that's already cut to length, and they're 8-inch ones, I think. And then I got a coil of spiral steel boning because I was like, oh, that'll be more flexible for whatever length I need. Okay, first off, it's like twice as wide. I have no idea what width I bought for anything. It was ages ago. And second, I don't think I'll ever use this because, oh my god, this stuff, it eats metal cutting tools for breakfast. I don't know how people cut it. I've done some Googling, not extensive, but yeah, not. I'm grateful I have ones that already have a pretty little cap sewn on them. And now where did I, there it is. Flat steel boning, which is also hella wide. You see what I'm used to, right? You see why I felt like these are the tiniest things ever. So next up is cutting the darn things. Trying to do that on frame, because why am I trying to cut them on frame? I have no idea. Look. Snips. Chomp chomp. So I feel like I ought to make them wider, longer. Why do I feel that way? I don't know. Ugh. Nope. I made them the same length. Ha ha ha. So I need 4 of these. So now there's 4 of them. Next up is chop. Chop, cutting the corners off of all of them, and then finding the sandpaper. Yeah. Now if you're wondering the reason that I'm using these on the front and the back and not these, because I mean I have them, I like them, they're cute. This does not bend. The front and the back lacing will be straight, whereas this, the point of this is its flexibility, right? So I feel like if I put these next to the eyelets or grommets or whatever I end up doing, then there'd be a weird shape as the lacing gap, which is not good visually. So onward, chopping little triangles of metal off. So the flat steel is in one of these. Oh my goodness, it's so tiny. I'm gonna leave the folded over part, because remember I measured the waist tape, right? And so I just put this at the edge of the waist tape and dangled it, and like I need it to be perpendicular so that this will hopefully run up and down straight. So I'm going to leave the excess on both sides because that's where I'm going to be punching holes and making either eyelets or grommets, so reinforcement is good at that point. So this is surprisingly fussy. I'm not even going to attempt to do it on camera. I mean, it's in there, but like, dude. Like, I'm not going to try and sew it in on camera, but like here, and I'm like, okay, let's try and center things. Let's make it dangle free, and where do you belong? And okay. Oh look, now I can't see anything. I hope it doesn't slip. So this is probably where you would use pins, if you had pins. If not, just take your time. Well, this is exciting. So, this is how the one side of it looks with the pretty shiny upholstery fabric on it. All the little stitches will be covered by some other upholstery fabric to be very pretty soon, and then it'll be reversible, and that'll be awesome. But first, this half needs covering, so I'm not using pattern again. I'm just taking rectangles, I'm going to stitch it securely, and then I'm going to stitch, and then I'm going to pull and stitch and fold the edges under, over, well, more like that. Do this piece, and then do this piece all the way down here, and then these two could happen in either order, but I've already done this one, so I'll probably look carefully at the seams and see which side of the, dang it, middle things they land on to try and match everything up as much as I can. So the other side of the reversible corset belt goes just the same as the first side, with taking lots of rectangles and patting them smooth and trimming them as needed, and stretch, stretch, take a few stitches, stretch, stretch, smooth, right? Yes, Opal. Did you hear her thump? But the other thing about it, and all the rectangles and trimming, I don't feel bad about it because all of this is secondhand fabric. And honestly, even if I had a pattern, there'd be all these little curvy bits left over, wouldn't there be? But I probably would still get weird about it if I'd purchased the fabric new. Oh, but obviously the other side has to be carefully stitched and folded in a really fussy way, and very carefully stitched, so that all the edges are clean. Now, if you have some kind of trim that works with both of the fabrics, by all means use that. Then you won't have to be so fussy. But for some reason I'm doing it this way. I guess because I don't have a trim that works with both the fabrics. So then we'll have something that on this side looks like this, and on this side looks like this. And then there will be eyelets. Lots of eyelets. My friends, we have come to the very last eyelet. I will say that, let's see, right side up. If you are using, like me, a thin cover fabric and a thick cover fabric, do the thin one first. I believe that would have made keeping things smooth easier. And now, right here, I tried starting these holes with an awl like you're supposed to, and that failed miserably. So now I'm just nibbling them with tiny scissors. I suspect it failed miserably because I have so many layers of very different fabrics. Got the really thin, shiny stuff, got the thick, soft, shiny stuff, and the cotton sheeting. And they all act different. And every one of these eyelets has been through at least 2 layers of each of those fabrics. So hopefully they will be nice and stable. Oh, also, usually you go kind of sideways from the edge of the eyelet and tie a little, I don't know, almost knot, a little loop-de there on the inside of it, which I'm quite capable of doing under normal circumstances, but with this many layers of fabric it was not working. So what I've been doing is going down on one side and then coming up through the hole and doing that about 1,000,000 times. So that is my plan. Then we get to figure out lacing, which will be buckets of fun. Alright, my darlings. I suppose tomorrow we'll find out if I put enough holes in this. I think I did. We shall see. Now, the thing about modern corset lacing, you've seen people sew themselves into stays and curdles, right? The spiral stuff. Oh, wow. I still have turmeric all over my hands. Oh, this is not spiral lacing. This is modern. I'm not sure what kind of lacing this is, but the thing about it is you put bunny ears at the narrowest point of the corset so that things will go whoop, and then you tie a bow right there in the middle, right? So lacing up corsets is, I'm probably going to screw it up, especially since I'm talking. Go through, you little goofball. Lacing up some corsets is something you should take your time with and give yourself some wiggle room on. And just try and pause between each step and give it a think, like most things. Alright, all done. Alright, we are inside because it is cold out there. So, first without the accessory, and now with it. You can tell she is thrilled to be modeling. Turn around, please, Munchkin. And now Opal the rabbit is assisting. So now it's the shiny side out. Please turn around. And around again. Ta-da! Alright, and now with a pretty 18th century linen shirt that is also not for her. Alright, And her swashbuckling highness, who is thoroughly tired of all this, will now twirl in a circle. Oh, slower! Oh, dear Lord.
You said twirl. You didn't say how fast.
Oh, okay, you are right. There, you look lovely there. Silly baby. No, I have to be able to see it. Okay, and spin in a circle. So, this just went over her head and off again every time. And obviously doing that 4 times in a row is annoying. But I think, especially with this length of corset, height of corset, width, with this dimension of corset with the 8 inches, I don't think it's a big deal. Like just for putting it on once and taking it off once rather than 4 times in 5 minutes. Other than that, I think it turned out awesome. I'm looking forward to giving it to her. This is going to be great. So, whee! Opal the Rabbit and I would like to thank you very much for watching and for liking and subscribing. And if you decide to make your own corset belt or Waspie or anything like that, I'd love it if you tagged me and I could get to see it. Opal does not care about corsets. She only cares about parsley and scritches. Hello, Chaos Floof. Say bye-bye, Opal the Rabbit.